If you want the best gear in Raid Shadow Legends, then which dungeon is better? There are a lot of dungeons to go by, but typically people kind of go towards Dragon's Lair or Fire Knight's Castle. Now, which one will be better to spend your energy on if you want to get the best gear for your champions? Well, that question is a little bit more complicated depending on where your account is in the game, but to kind of go into it in a bit more detail, I'm going to be doing 100 runs on Fire Knight's Castle and 100 on Dragon's Lair, both stage 20, and we're going to find out exactly which one comes out on top. Now, before I get into all of the juicy details about which dungeon comes out on top, make sure to use my QR code above my head or click the link in the description if you want a fresh start in Raid with all of these epic champions as you level up and the choice between one of these legendaries. Right, let's talk about it then. Which one ended up being better? Well, this might have been down to luck, but interestingly, Fire Knight's Castle ended us with more silver worth than Dragon. So, it's only 600,000 difference, but that was quite interesting to see. The truth is, though, the different types of items you get, the different rarities is going to mostly be the same depending on which stage you do and not the dungeon. For example, if I do stage 20 Dragon, or I do stage 20 Fire Knight's Castle, I'm going to have about the same chance, the same drop rates to get a 5 or 6 star item, and the same drop rates to get a legendary. We got a little bit luckier when it came to Fire Knights this time around, but if we did it again, maybe it would go in Dragon's favor. Either way, we got about 4 to 5 legendary items from doing 100 runs of stage 20, and that's probably what you can expect yourself. Now, to me, though, legendary isn't the most important thing. The most important thing is getting 6 stars. And when it comes to 6 stars, we got 32. Out of the 100 items we got 32 6 stars and 68 5 stars. So we have 68 items that may or may not be going on our best characters and 32 that do have the chance to. Now, the next thing to talk about is the set bonuses. And this is where the truth about which dungeon is better is really going to come into play. If we actually go to this stage, we can see all of these dungeons and exactly which dungeons have different drops. These sets are really important to get the best stats for different such situations. For example, Ice Golem's Peat, Life, Offense, Defense, Critical Rate, Resistance, Retaliation, Reflex, Cast, and Provoke. Now, those aren't really the best. Let's be honest. No one really puts those on their champs much, but when you come to Dragon's Lair, you have Accuracy, Speed, Lifesteal, Destroy, Toxic, Frost, Daze, Avenging, and Stalwart. Now, there's some very good options in here. Speed is very popular. You always want to get a couple speed things if you don't quite have enough speed for your champion. Accuracy can be useful in some situations, and even Lifesteal. Destroy isn't the best set in the game, but it can be useful at times if you don't have enough other items such as Savage Gear, and we'll get into that in a minute. And the rest of the gear sets aren't really that great. Now, when we go to Fire Knight's Castle, we have Fury, Curing, Immunity, Shield, Crit Damage, Frenzy, Regeneration, Stun, and Savage. Out of all of these, most of these are pretty low tier. They're not really going to be useful that much. However, critical damage can sometimes be okay. It's a 2 set, so that's nice. But the most valuable thing here is the Savage. Savage is one of the best sets you can get in the dungeons here, the base dungeon. Savage is amazing, and I'll take a look here to show you if you're unsure of what Savage is. Savage, wherever it may be, we did get some here, ignores 25% of enemy defense, which is going to be useful in so many areas on your account, especially to put on your PvP champions, okay? I've got some Instinct on my account because I couldn't get enough Savage gear. That's the truth. If I could choose Savage, I would put Savage instead, but we've gone for a lower value stuff. Instinct is only 20% ignore defense, so if I could get Savage on my characters, I would put Savage on my characters, but I don't quite have enough yet. The biggest issue of farming Fire Knight Castle, though, to get Savage is, well, it's quite clear here, after 100 runs, we don't have much Savage. We got some, but mostly it was the other sets, which just aren't really that worthwhile. Crit damage is okay, but the rest aren't really of very good value. The rating of those other sets just a pretty low tier when people really talk about them, right? So the only set in Fire Knight's Castle really worth getting is Savage. And you're going to have to spend a lot of energy to get it because it's only one of many sets there. But when it comes to Dragon, it's a bit of a different story. Dragon has speed gear, which is amazing. Lifesteal, which can be useful. Accuracy, which is pretty good. Destroy can even be good at times as well. There are 4 sets in here that are A tier or S tier sets, I would argue, right? So you're going to have much more chance to get sets for gear that's actually worthwhile in Dragon, because you're not just going for speed. You're happy to get accuracy, you're happy to get lifesteal, you're happy to get destroy. When it comes to Finite's Castle, realistically, I mean, crit damage can be okay, but you're mostly going for Savage. You really want to get Savage. So the solution would be, if you're limited on energy, then definitely go Dragon. You're probably going to get more value out of it, especially if you're in the early game. However, if you have a lot of energy, or there's a 3 times Savage event available, which does happen sometimes, then absolutely put your energy into Fire Knights. Now, it really does come down to, though, you know, what's going on, what events are happening, what characters you're trying to build. Thing is with Savage as well, it's good on your attack champs, but not so much other champions. Speed gear goes on everybody. Everyone can do with a bit of speed gear, and it's a 2 set as well. So if you need to boost up your speed just a little bit, you can throw in some speed boots in the speed gear set, and maybe like a helmet or something, and then you still have 4 other slots free for another set, which could end up being lifesteal, destroy, or something else. So overall, it really does come down to weighing what you need for your account. I'm in a situation now where I have a lot of gear, but I could do with some Savage, so I'm thinking about spending the energy to get it. However, it makes more sense to wait until there's a 3 times Savage event for Fire Knight's Castle and then go in, because you're going to have triple the chance of getting it, and that's what we really all want. Now, what about the other dungeons in Raid? It's not like we only have 2 choices, right? Well, obviously, these end 2 are going to get you gear to ascend your gear, right? You get oil, and you get the essence or the extract from this one. So those aren't really in the conversation here. And then we have Minotaur's Labyrinth, where you get the scrolls to get your masteries. And then you have the Potion Keeps and Iron Twins Fortress, which have, well, Ascension here for potions, and then this is for getting your souls. So the only other choices, there is one coming soon, I'm very curious what that will end up being. The only other choices are Spider's Den and Ice Golem's Peak. Now, Spider's Den, you only get accessories, so you get rings, amulets, and banners, which are absolutely worth farming as well. Not only are they going to be good for getting your characters even more powerful, they actually sell for a lot of silver. And once you've got enough accessories, if you really need silver, Spider actually ends up being a more effective way to get silver than even the campaign farm. Even, you know, you might not be leveling up champions as effectively, but it's a very silver effective method to use energy for. Now, what about Ice Golem's Peak? We did talk about that a little bit earlier, but there's not really much here that's worth considering. Life, offense, defense, critical rates, maybe. But all of these options aren't really that worthwhile. Most people put all of their attention in Dragon. Like, the majority of dungeon divers will be spent in Dragon. And then when there's a 3x event, people will go and do Fire Knight's Castle. That's kind of like the go-to strategy. And Ice Golem is not really often attended that much unless there's some kind of event or tournament going on for it. So hopefully that was useful. If you found it interesting, let me know. And consider subscribing if you want to see more. And I'll see you in the comments.